Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Saturday, the 12th of April 2025. In today's Millwall news, it was match day. A glorious match day because we got the result that we needed. We are definitely, most certainly, in a playoff race. If you didn't believe it before, you're going to believe it now. We won 1-0, and this headline sums it up. Mill grind out victory over Middlesbrough. Yes, we did grind that out. It wasn't pretty, especially in that first half, but I think the way that Alex Neil solved the problem of not having the second striker, as Coburn was ineligible to play, I think he did the best he could, and luckily it worked out. We didn't concede in the first half despite playing very poorly with only one up front. The changes were made shortly after the second half kicked off, basically because the fitness of the players, they weren't up to playing that long, and we'll find out in the post-match comments. And not only that, the goal scorer, the guy who scored the goal, Kamil Negley, he's now out for the rest of the season because he did his hamstring again. He went off injured. So he scores the winning goal and then he has to go off injured. His season's done, but this could be just an absolute, vital goal in the history of Millwall. If you imagine that if we do get in the playoffs and if we do get promoted, that this player comes on, he's out injured, he comes back, he's on the bench, he comes off the bench, he scores the goal, and then he gets injured, he goes off, and then the rest of the players, manage to kick on in the rest of the fixtures until the end of the season, and they managed to do the unthinkable, which is, get up to the Premier League. So, Mill defeated Middlesbrough 1-0 in the Sky Bet Championship on Saturday afternoon. Kamil Negley stepped off the bench to score the winner on a bittersweet afternoon for the Algerian, as he then had to withdraw through injury shortly after. The win is the Lions' third in a row in SC16 and also in the division. Alex Neil made one change to his starting 11 for the visit of Borough, with Adomi Maku coming in for the ineligible Josh Coburn. And he wasn't playing up front, he was playing on the left, so I think we went back to kind of like a 4-2-3-1. Femi Aziz and Kamil Negley, meanwhile, returned from injury to take places on the bench. An early free kick for the Lions saw Joe Bryan deliver a ball into the box, which Tristan Cramer met, but the centre-back's header went over the crossbar. The visitors kept possession from there, but failed to trouble Lucas Jensen, and that was until the 15th minute when George Honeyman had the chance to cross, but opted for a cutback that eventually fizzled out of play on the opposite side. Another Bryan free kick was then almost gathered by Jake Cooper at the back post. However, the defender's reach was not enough, and the ball went behind for a goal kick. Cramer had to execute the perfect challenge on Tommy Conway on 20 minutes, as it looked as though the Middlesbrough man would test Jensen, whilst a moment of defensive brilliance from Bryan and Jensen kept the Lions' sheet clean just after the half-hour mark, as the former blocked Delano Bergzog's effort before the latter kept the ball from going behind. Macaulay Langstaff replaced Luke Cundle at half-time, and the striker was straight into action, falling under Middlesbrough pressure inside the box, only for Tom Neal to be unmoved. That's the referee's name, Tom Mild. A minute later, the ball was worked to the back post, and Maku sought a strike block before Honeyman's attempt drew a smart save from Mark Travers in a flurry of events. Casper Noor then won the ball back in the midfield and looked to feed Maku, but his attempted through ball was weak and stopped by the defence. A bouncing throw-in then made its way to the back post, and Langstaff only to see his header cleared away, with the substitute then almost battering his way through to goal with 57 minutes on the clock, as the ball unfortunately ran just too far. Aziz and Negley made their returns to action just before the hour mark, as they came on for Honeyman and Maku, as did George Saville for Denor, with the next opportunity going the way of the visitors. Hayden Hackney struck wide from the edge of the penalty area. Aziz's half volley from the edge of the box flashed wide as Mill looked to break the deadlock, and with 65 minutes played, they did just that, as Negley took the ball down on the penalty spot and fired home. Did he take it down? I thought he just hit it straight. Did he take it down? Or maybe he kind of chested to him. I don't think he touched it with his feet. I mean, either once. Yeah, I think he kind of like chested it down. Cooper headed a Negley corner over as the Lions hunted a second, with Leonard then doing the same a couple of minutes later, but Finazaz then came closest to find the net as his fizzer from outside the area had to be tipped over by Jensen. Johnny Howson and Mihajlo Ivanovic traded the half chances as the last 15 minutes got underway before Negley's day turned bittersweet with 11 minutes to go as he had to withdraw through injury, whereas Harling his replacement as Leonard moved into central midfield. As 5 minutes of stoppage time got underway, it looked as though Middlesbrough would equalise, but substitute Marcus Forss saw his shot brilliantly saved by Jensen. Aziz and Langstaff were then in a 2-on-1 situation at the other end, but were stopped with referee Anil blowing for time in front of a loud den minutes later. And that was a crowd of 17,523, 2,706 Middlesbrough fans. And the team was as follows: Jensen, Leonard, Kramer, Cooper, Bryan, Honeyman, Denor, Mitchell, Maku, Ivanovic, and Kundal. And the subs bench was Aziz, Wintle, Langstaff, Saville, Drake, Evans, is it? Okay. Harding, Matthews, and Negley. And the subs that came on were Negley on for Honeyman in the 57th minute, Saville on for Denor in the 57th minute, Aziz on for Maku in the 57th minute, Langstaff on for Kundal at half time, and Harding on for Negley in the 78th minute. So interesting that Roberts wasn't on the bench for that game. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, so in the first half we played one up front with Ivanovic, and it wasn't good enough. Kundal was there behind him, and Kundal again, a bit hit and miss. He was doing things and stuff, but wasn't exactly setting the world on fire. But we were just holding on, and it kind of felt like the ghost of Millwall past, how you've been playing, like how we would kick the ball forward and it wouldn't stay up there, and then it would come back, and we would just defend. The players up front were isolated. They had no one. Like, the ball just kept coming back. It's just a really badly playing football, and luckily, we were good defensively. We stopped them from getting any decent shots away. The only chances we had in the first half, I think it was three headers from, I think, a corner and 2 free kicks. Kramer one, the Cooper one, and the Ivanovic one, that all went over the bar. So it's like, oh, here we go, same old. But because we've got players coming back from injury and they can't do the full 90 minutes, and this is what I discussed in the video yesterday. Langstaff came on at half time, so he could do 45 minutes. So you don't start him. You want to win strong, and that's what they did. Unfortunately, Negley coming off injured, which was unfortunate, and it happened on the 78th minute. So the change that they made was to bring Harding on, and just to change the shape and go, more defensive, and that kind of invited them onto us a little bit. But what can you do? I said they didn't have the confidence. There wasn't any Kendall on the bench, so even though he's a youngster, I'd have the confidence to bring him on. So they had to go defensively, and then it was because before then, from the start of the second half, man, it was insane. Like, it was night and day. From the start of the second half, when we were playing 2 up front, Langstaff was up front. And then you've got when freaking Harding, when Negley and Aziz come on, man, we were like all over them. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't do a thing. It was us all day long, and we were doing moves that weren't quite coming off. Langstaff is, even though he's coming back in, he's at this level. He's not getting a run of games. He's a bit, he's not got his eye into it yet, but he's trying, doing a few things. Didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, Managed very well. Luckily, we didn't concede in that first half because that was atrocious. So we did get away with that one. But we've got to be playing two up front. We need to be doing that. That's the way. That works for us. That is insane, especially when you're playing these stupid teams like Middlesbrough, who do this pitter-patter, tiki-taka, passing it out from the back. They never play it long, so all you're doing is you're giving them all the time in the world to just push the defenders forward, to just pass it around you. You're just inviting them on. You've got to play two up front to give them something to trouble them. Now we've got this from millfc.co.uk. Pictures. Photographs. Millwall beat Middlesbrough 1-0 in the Sky Bet Championship on Saturday afternoon. Take a look at the best of the action from the den in the match gallery below. So they were huddling up before the game. Apart from the captain, who was in the centre circle, tossing off the coin. Billy Mitchell was outstanding today. And again, it was kind of a team effort, but not as good as the Sheffield United game. The Sheffield United game, like everyone in the team, was incredible. In this one, it was a team effort, but there was clearly standout players who were, better than the others. And I would say Crammer, Billy Mitchell. Dinor looked tired, and he did go off. He looked leggy, like his legs had gone from playing 2 full games in a week. This was his third. But yeah. Negley scores. Is that his first? No, he scored already, didn't he? That wasn't his first goal. Or maybe it was, I don't know. I probably should know, but everyone is happy. And then Saville comes on, gets it in the corner, sees the game out. There you go. Fantastic stuff. Jensen made a few decent saves as well. And there you go. They're on the pitch after the game. Because that's it. That we needed to win that game, and we did win that game. And so, And what is this? So we got 2 more home games left to go. So, there you go. So what does that do? Well, it does a lot. By the way, it does a lot, and we're going to find out now. So, results this weekend. On Friday, Burnley 2, Norwich 1. Leeds 2, Preston 1. Plymouth 2, Sheffield United 1. Hello. Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 0. Luton 0, Blackburn 1. They got a red card, but oh dear, they have learnt how to win again. And who do we play next? We play Blackburn Rovers at Ewood Park. Oh dear. West Bromwich Albion 2, Watford 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Gary Rout's Oxford 1. Queen's Park Rangers 1. Bristol City 1. Yes, that was a good result for us. Portsmouth 2, Derby 2. Cardiff 0, Stoke 1. Sunderland 0, Swansea 1. Now, there is a game to come on Monday. It's being played on Monday because tomorrow is the Football League Trophy Final. So, obviously, they put the EFL game on the Monday night, which is a bit of a piss take, really, because it's Easter. So, Coventry will be playing Monday, Friday, Monday. When all the other teams in the league, except for the 2 who played on Friday, will be playing Saturday, Friday, Monday. But, we need Coventry to lose. So, is again, fortuitous. This is working out well for us. We hope. So, let's have a look. What are we looking at? We stay in 9th. We ain't gone anywhere. The teams around us, West Brom 1. Coventry ain't played yet. Bristol City drew. Sunderland lost. Sheffield United lost. Sheffield United, there is now a 5-point gap between them and the two teams above them, they have a worse goal difference, so it's effectively a 6-point gap. There's 12 points left to play for. Sheffield United are going to be in that third place. So if we do manage to do what we need to do and get in that 6th place, we're going to be playing Sheffield United. 100% guaranteed. We could still make 5th because obviously Bristol City drew today. Interestingly, they couldn't win 3 games in a row. We won 3 games in a row. And when you do things like this in this league, you climb up the table. Now we didn't climb up the table. We're still in 9th, but we are now equal level on points with Middlesbrough and West Brom, 60 points. We are 2 points off 6th place. They obviously play on Monday. Hopefully they lose away to Hull, because Hull, they need a win. And this is the thing, we don't have to play any of these teams that are in relegation dogfights. We're not involved in that. We're playing teams in the middle of the table. We're playing Blackburn, who they got 12 points left to play for, which if they won all their games would give them 68, which I don't think has ever been enough to get a playoff place. I think the lowest is like 72. But I think they're going to try and win on Friday. But and again, Ewood Park has not been the happiest of hunting grounds for us. I don't think we've won up there since that FA Cup quarter-final when it was Shoot scored. And since then, we've had some really bad games. I think a game under Gary Rowett where we didn't even have a shot on target. I don't think we even had a shot, so our XG was 0.00. So, that's not easy. And just our luck, they've lost so many games in a row, and then they draw, and then they win. So now they've figured out how to play football again. Oh, great. Fantastic. And the red card that they got today, it was a youngster who I think was making his first start. So unless they've got injury problems, I don't think that's going to be much of a help for us. But you never know. Interesting, again, because we did win the game, we're not on negative goal difference, we're on 0 goal difference. So that's good. And if we just cast our eye to the games next week, so next week, obviously Good Friday, Easter Monday, Bank Holiday weekend, long weekend, 4-day weekend. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. These are the games, if we look through them. Coventry, West Bromwich Albion. Bristol City, Sunderland. Watford, Burnley. Who else? Middlesbrough, Plymouth. Now this is a bit of a piss take, really, when you think about that. They put on Good Friday. They've put on the team that's furthest in the northeast, or maybe that's Sunderland. I don't know geography. And they put on the team that's in the furthest southwest on Good Friday. And what they do at the big bank holidays, they always do, obviously, on the Good Friday, you'll be home, and then the following one on Monday, you'll be away. So they couldn't even help Plymouth out and put them maybe at Holloway on the Monday. So they could they just stay up there for the weekend. No, they're back home, and look who they play. They play Coventry. So they've got all this travelling to do, and we need them to beat Coventry, we assume, hopefully, and they've got all this travelling to do over the Easter weekend. Not ideal. What else have we got? So this is the Easter Monday. West Brom Derby. Obviously Derby fighting for lives in relegation. Sunderland Blackburn. Sheffield Wednesday Middlesbrough. That's not going to be easy for Middlesbrough. Not at all. A bit kind of like a local derby, sort of Yorkshire-ish. What else have we got? Luton, Bristol City. Bristol City going to win that easily. Luton are absolutely dog shit. I can't believe they're only 2.6 to win that game. And Burnley, Sheffield United. And if Burnley win that game, almost guarantees Sheffield United will be stuck in the playoffs. And we've got Norwich at home, who are mid-table now. So by the time we play them, was it another game? So they got to play a game. What am I trying to? It's on. Okay, look, we're only 4 points off 5th place. We're only at the moment 2 points off Coventry in 6th place. Although, if they win that game, it's going to be 5 points, which it was before today. So there you go. We are doing it. We are doing it, and we are doing it quite well based on today's game. The players, the effort they put in, the manager, the tactics. He knew he couldn't start Langstaff because he's just coming back. He wouldn't last the 90 minutes. He hasn't got the match fitness. So what does he do? Brings him on at half time. And then he makes the changes later on with the 2 other players who, again, this is their first game back from injury. One of them, he came on, he scores a goal, and then he goes off injured. Probably a little bit too much of a risk, but, do what you got to do. We'll worry about the next game, but we do what we do now, and we beat Middlesbrough. The next game, now we worry about the next game, that's Blackburn. And then after that, we'll worry about the game after that. And then after that, we'll worry about the game after that. Do what you need to do when you need to do it. And the players did it. Fantastic stuff there. So, let's move on to this. The lowdown from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Snapshot of the game. High drama at the Den. Nothing less than a victory was going to do if the Lions wanted to keep putting pressure on the clubs above them in the table. And Negley's excellently taken slotted finish in the second period was a super timely way to record his first goal. Yeah, it was his first goal after a club record move from Sparta Rotterdam in January. The second half changes made by Alex Neil certainly gave the hosts something extra in their forward play. Credit also to Lucas Gentron for a pivotal stop late on to divert Marcus Force's powerful strike away for a corner. A tactical approach. Josh Coleman had to sit this one out due to Mill facing his parent club, and in the opening 45 minutes his absence was keenly felt. Despite Mihailo Ivanovic's best effort attempts in what turned into an isolated striker role, Macaulay Langstaff's introduction at the start of the second half, replacing the ineffectual Luke Cundall, gave Borough a bit more to worry about as the host put a second front man up top. It was a sapping match, evidenced by even Ryan Leonard cramping up in the closing stages, and Lions head coach Alex Neil freshened well with his changes, including George Saville coming on for Casper Denor, who has featured in every match in all competitions this season. Yes. Starman Tristan Kramer, the Frenchman, earned the match sponsors vote, and I've got to agree with him. Did a really good job on Tommy Conway, including one perfectly timed challenge on the edge of his own box in the first half. Best moment, Negley's goal. The Den was not completely full today, but the noise levels after his strike beat Mark Travers certainly made it feel like it was. Moan of the match. The fact that Negley is now set to miss the remainder of the season with a hamstring injury, which forced him off after just 21 minutes of action. Neil admitted afterwards that the fact Mill will have to get victories to keep alive their top 6 ambitions means that players are being thrust into the action despite not being totally conditioned for it. Yeah, and we've got, like mentioned, we've got the two games in 4 days over Easter now. They're not going to get conditioned in the short time this week, are they? A talking point down the pub. Imagine there are some supporters who have already made summer holiday plans that might now need to be looked at. A few weeks back, the playoffs did not look attainable, but then 4 wins in the last 6 matches from only bettered by Burnley with 14 points have left Mill with something to play for. Those 5th and 6th positions in the table are up for grabs, and there are 5 clubs that have a chance of filling them. The South Londoners have 1 point more than they managed in the whole of last season, 59 with 4 fixtures remaining. What the boss had to say. Setbacks, not playing well in the first half, and things that go against us in games didn't seem to deter us and stop any momentum. We tried to find the next solution, which we did. I've done the playoffs 3 times and I managed to be successful each time, which means I've got vast experience of getting into them. We've got a lot of work to do, still chasing the teams above us, which is tough. Yes, it's obviously we're chasing them and we need them to drop points, which in this league does happen. but we need to capitalise on that, and we did it today. Now, talking points from Mill's 1-0 win against Middlesbrough, the Southern News version of that. Mill moved level on points with Middlesbrough as they won for the third game in succession, continuing their late surge towards the top 6. Here are the talking points from the Lions' victory. Ivanovic leading the line. With Josh Coburn ineligible to play against his parent club Middlesbrough, Mill opted to play with a lone strike in the first half, and Milo Ivanovic leading the line for a home team in a 4-2-3-1 setup. The Serbian struggled to make his mark on the game in the first half as he was left to tussle with two Borough centre-backs, Ray van der Berg and Johnny Howson, as he tried to hold the ball up for the Lions. Alex Neil provided some help for Ivanovic as he brought on Macaulay Langstaff to replace Luke Cundle as Mill switched back to a 4-4-2 formation at half-time, a setup Neil was favoured in recent weeks. The home side looked more dangerous after the restart immediately, with a flurry of chances as Langstaff went down in the box following a Joe Bryan free kick, only to not be awarded a spot kick, much to the frustration of the home supporters. I don't think it was. I think he just got his legs caught up in the fella, really. George Honeyman then forced Borough keeper Mark Travers into his first real stop only moments later, with Travers saving low to his right in the 48th minute. The switch to bring Langstaff on at half-time helped the Lions to apply more effective press, who seemed to miss Coburn in the opening 45 minutes. Without Coburn, Cundle was tasked with pressing as the second striker when Borough were playing out, leading Casper Denor to move up the pitch and leave Billy Mitchell on his own in the front of the back four. Despite not managing to find the net, Langstaff's introduction massively boosted the Lions' attacking threat and provided much needed support for Ivanovic, helping the Lions to go on and snatch a vital 3 points. Resolute at the back. Before the game, much was made of Middlesbrough's potent attack, but Mill managed to keep the third top goal scorers in the league from finding a net. Well, they were the highest away goal scorers in the league. Ryan and George Honeyman were then assigned to keep Borough's dangerous left-sided pairing of Finn Azaz and Samuel Ling Jr. quiet. Mitchell also played a crucial role in shielding the back four, often sweeping up loose balls during Borough's best spell just after the half-hour mark. Mill's solid shape limited Middlesbrough to a few clear-cut chances, with Michael Carrick's side having their first clear sight of goal only in the 41st minute. Tame shot from Morgan Whittaker, which did not trouble the Lions goalkeeper Lucas Jensen. In the second half, the Lions remained compact, limiting the away side to half chances. Finn Azaz, Borough's main threat, showed glimpses of his quality as he forced a fingertip save from Jensen with long-range shot in the 74th minute and blazed another ever in the 83rd. Jensen was called into action once more in stoppage time, this time making a superb save to deny Marcus Force and preserve Mill's second successive clean sheet. Even without Japhet Tanganga, Mill's defensive structure stood firm, a promising sign as the season nears its climax. Imaku from the start. Making only his 6th championship start of the season, Adoma Imaku was handed a rare opportunity to impress from the off, filling in on the left as the indirect replacement for Coburn. While his pace was a useful outlet in transition during the first half, the young Irishman struggled to keep possession and making a lasting impact. A moment that summed up his afternoon came just 15 minutes in when he put an end to a brief spell of Lions pressure as he dribbled the ball out of play for a Borough goal kick. Although the 21-year-old's potential is clear given his cameos off the bench this season, he remains to be somewhat indecisive on the ball. With more minutes and a better understanding with his teammates, there are clear signs that he will grow into a more consistent performer for the Lions. Aziz and Negley off the bench. As Alex Neil looked to build on Mill's promising start to the second half following the switch back to a 4-4-2, he introduced Femi Aziz and Camille Negley just after the hour mark. It was on 55 minutes, was it not? To inject fresh energy into the side. Aziz was making his first appearance since the 2-0 defeat to Leeds in March, while Negley, Mill's club record signing, hadn't featured since March the 1st, but the pair wasted no time making an impact. In the 65th minute, Aziz drove a low ball into the box which Borough failed to clear. The loose ball fell kindly for Negley, who showed composure beyond his years, dragging a precise left-foot finish into the bottom right corner. Although Negley was forced off with a hamstring injury, ruling him out for the rest of the season, his and Aziz's involvement gave Mill a noticeable lift. Aziz's return in particular could be crucial as Mill continued a late push for a playoff spot, although the Lions' chances of making the playoffs remain slim as they sit 2 points behind 6th place Coventry, who have a game in hand. This victory will undoubtedly give them belief to potentially push on and extend their season beyond 46 games. Yep. Yes, sir. So we've got some post-match comments, and I know you love that, don't you? Southwarknews.co.uk. Alex Neil pinpoints the change that led to an improved second half performance in Mill's 1-0 win against Middlesbrough. I imagine it would be putting a second striker up some. Alex Neil said his half-time decision to switch to a two-striker system at Millwall were much improved in the second half of their 1-0 win against playoff rivals Middlesbrough at the Den today. Millwall particularly played with two up top these past 2 weeks, with Josh Coburn and Mihajlo Ivanovic leading the line. It is a formation that has brought Neil's side results in the last 3 matches. The Lions have started in a 4-4-2. They have won. However, with Coburn ineligible to play against his parent club, Millwall was set up in a one-striker formation with Luke Cundle playing behind Ivanovic. In what had been billed as a playoff 6-pointer with both sides pushing for the top 6, got off to a slow start. The two sides only combined for 6 shots in the first 45 minutes, and the Lions did not look their best. Neil opted to make changes in the interval, bringing on striker Macaulay Langstaff for attacking midfielder Luke Cundle, a switch that paid dividends. Emil looked noticeably more fluid going forward, and substitute Camille Negley scored the decisive goal in the 65th minute. The Lions saw out the final 25 minutes to score a vital 3 points in the hunt for the top 6, with Mill just 2 points off 6th place Coventry, who have a game in hand. And Alex Neil said they were much improved in the second half. I thought the first half was disappointing from us. There's a couple of bits in there. I chose not to go with a second striker, which we've done in the recent weeks. It didn't work. We couldn't really get the ball up the pitch. We didn't play forward enough, and our press wasn't quite right. Middlesbrough are a good side, and that's the first thing I do want to see. They don't make it easy for you to wrist the ball, and if you don't quite get it right, they can make you look quite silly. So that's the first thing. They deserve credit for that. In the first half, they were better. I didn't think there was loads of chances in the game. I think, Whittaker rolled it in on his left foot and a hair shot, and Lucas saved it, and I think that was the only one really off my mind that I thought was a reasonable chance in the game. It went very, very little. I think, Tristan Clammer had a header from the first set play of the game, which he should have probably done better with. And it was basically a highlight reel the first half, so that was disappointing. Half time was about changing how we were going to press, but, more importantly, putting a second player at the top end of the pitch to try and keep the ball alive. The discussion with the players was, we are delighted it's 0-0 at half time. Not that they've loads of chances, but they were better, and I accept that. So, the first part in terms of how we set up, that's naturally on me, as it always is. And we didn't get it quite right in the first half, and then we had to try and fix it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go and win the game, or you're going to go and play better, because Middlesbrough, again, are a really good side. What it did do immediately, it got us high up the pitch, and we turned a few balls down, and we got 2 strikers, we kept it alive, we got a corner, and I think George Honeyman had a chance right at the start, and the keeper makes a great save, and that's a throw in that bounces it to the back stick. We get a header, and again they make the save, and they get a few blocks in, and we get good territory up the pitch. It's interesting, sometimes the games, the problem in the first half was the press in terms of it not working and leaving Johnny Howson on the ball, who's a brilliant player. I said to John, I had to change it and go to the other side second half. But what actually fixed the game was putting 2 centre forwards up for us, because we couldn't get the ball up the pitch. Every time we looked forward, we then circulated back, and that's not when we're at our best. So that's, from our perspective, that fixed it and helped us to give us an opportunity. Neil made a triple change in the 57th minute, bringing on the goal scorer Negley, Femi Aziz and George Saville. I think at that stage, because we've got 2 up front, what I wanted to do is make one change initially and see if they could keep the ball up there. And Neil said, I thought immediately, I went, oh, that's helped us. We kept the ball high at the high end of the pitch. Now what we need off the sides is when it gets there, when it comes back, we need to find players that are going to go and beat people. Supply crosses, commit people, eliminate players, give us good energy at the top end of the pitch. I thought the 2 lads brought that for us, even though they're not fit, but I thought, they brought what we needed at that point in time. And what I will say is tactics and strategy and all that stuff's only part of it. Players win your games, and if you've got players that don't have any art, and they don't have any bottle, and they don't have any great tactics, don't matter. Today, they had all of that and more. Moving on to southwarknews.co.uk, more from Alex Neil. And I'm loving what I've read so far, so let's have a read of this. Every single part they've got in their body gets left on the pitch. Alex Neil praises his side's resilience after Mill beat Middlesbrough. Alex Neil credited his side's work ethic and determination after Mill beat Middlesbrough 1-0 at the Den today, the Lions' third win this week. Mill got off to a slow start in an important match for both sides. Yeah, we know all this. Blah, blah, blah. After the match, just got some praise his players for their effort and grit. Oh, we played better. We carried more of a threat. Our press was better. Everything about us was better second half. And we understand that, and that's not lost on anybody. We do understand as well that, Lucas was great to make an unbelievable save at the end when the lad cuts inside, and I thought it was a goal. And, Lucas manages to save us. But what I will give this group more than anything else, we've got grit. We will fight, we will bite, and we'll do whatever it takes to give ourselves an opportunity to try and win a game of football. And as a coach, it's unbelievably refreshing to have in your group, and that they're going to give you everything they've got. We might not always be successful and win, but every single part they've got in their body gets left on their pitch. And I think you could see the appreciation from the fans. So, from my perspective, I'm extremely proud of the team today. I'm proud of the fans for getting behind them as well in the second half, because the first half was a tough one for us, and together, we managed to get the result we wanted, and we will play better than that. But today was all about winning. Indeed. More from Alex Neil, more from southwarknews.co.uk. Billy Mitchell was dead. Mill boss admits he planned to use the last substitution on the midfielder, but Camille Negley injury changed his plans. So that would have been winter one for him, I guess. Alex Neil said he was planning to use his last substitution during Mill's 1-0 win against Middlesbrough today to give Billy Mitchell a rest before Camille Negley went down injured, forcing Neil to replace the winger with right back Wes Harding. Neil brought on Macaulay Langstaff at half time before making a triple change in the 58th minute, introducing Negley, Aziz, Saville, etc., leaving the Scotsman with just one more sub. Mitchell, who had started 4 of the Lions' past 5 games, who Neil planned to replace, but an injury to the goal scorer, Negley, meant he had to change his plans. Oh, Billy Mitchell was dead, Neil said. The problem I had was Camille that just went down, so it was my last change. So those 3 subs that I did, and then obviously I changed at half time, brought another striker on. I knew I had one left, and if I'm being honest, I wasn't planning on bringing on a right back. It would have probably been the middle of the pitch, and Billy was my next one, probably for Ryan Wintle. And then obviously Camille goes down at that stage. I'm looking at Billy, and he came over, and I went, Billy, you're going to have to play the rest of the game, mate. And I could see him looking in my eyes, like sort of part of his body died at that point. But he managed to get through it for us. Wow. Okay. And this is the confirmation that, Negley's going to be out for the rest of the season, as we've already heard in bits and pieces. This is from southwarknews.co.uk. So Camille Negley set to miss the rest of the season, which is 4 games, so was it like 2 weeks really, isn't it? It's because we got two games in 4 days, and then the week after, and then the week after, so 3 weeks. So he's out for 3 weeks, which is the rest of the season, but the season's only 3 weeks long. As Alex Neil claims, the winger scored what could be the most crucial goal that anybody scores for Millwall in a number of years. Yeah, I said it at the start, didn't I? If this is it, if this is the catalyst, if this is what saves the season, then we go on and we actually do the unthinkable, which, we're all thinking it now. I mean, this was the moment. Alex Neil thinks Camille Negley will be out for the rest of the season after injuries in his hamstring during Mill's 1-0 win against Middlesbrough today. Negley suffered an ankle injury in Mill's 3-1 FA Cup loss to Crystal Palace on March the 1st, ruling him out for 6 weeks, and only made his return to first team action today. He was introduced in the 58th minute and scored the game's only goal 7 minutes later. Negley pulled up holding his hamstring in the 79th minute, was replaced by Wes Harding. Neil thinks the injury is season ending with only 4 matches left in the campaign. Camille won't make the rest of the season, in my opinion, Neil said. Neil also revealed that Negley was only due to play 15 minutes today. What I will say is I think everybody could see even fairly on in the first half how much this week took its toll on the players physically. We've got a really, really small squad at the moment trying to get through it. Femi Aziz shouldn't have been on the bench, and Camille was due to get 15 minutes today. And those lads, really shouldn't have been on the bench. They've trained for about 3 days. But we're at the stage of the season where, it's needs must. And unfortunately for Camille, he puts his hamstring, and I feel bad about that because that's partially my fault because you shouldn't have been on as early as you came on. However, he scores us the winning goal, and it's sort of bittersweet for him. It's disappointing for me because I got a player injured. However, it could potentially be this season turns out to be a successful one for us, and it could be the most crucial goal that anybody scores for Millwall in a number of years. Now, I know there's a huge amount of work to do. There's a huge amount of games left, and if we go and lose the next couple, it could all end. But what we have done this week is we've given ourselves an opportunity where we can go and try and battle for the next remaining games and see where it takes us. Well, yeah, and we'll take you up to the top of the pops. Now, this from the South London Press, London News Online. .co.uk. Mill summer signing earns praise from boss for unbelievable moment in win over Middlesbrough. Alex Neil has praised Lucas Gent for his late stop from Marcus forcing Mill's 1-0 win over Middlesbrough this afternoon. The Danish goalkeeper signed in the summer transfer window from Lincoln City has kept 15 clean sheets in all competitions, 14 of those in the Championship. Jensen celebrated frustrating former AFC Wimbledon lonely force at the Den. Camille Negley's first goal for Mill since his January club record transfer from Sparta Rotterdam keeps Mill in the mix of the playoffs. Lucas was okay to make an unbelievable save at the end when the lad cuts inside. I thought it was a goal, said Mill head coach Neil. Lucas manages to save us. What I will give this group more than anything is that we've got grit, we've got real fight and bite, and we'll do whatever it takes to give ourselves an opportunity to try and win the game of football. As a coach, it's unbelievably refreshing to have in the group. They're going to give you everything they've got, and we might not always be successful and win, but every single part of the body they've got gets left on the pitch. And I'm extremely proud of the team today and the fans for getting behind the team in the second half, because that first half was a tough one to watch for us, and together we managed to get the result we wanted. And we will play better than that, but today was all about winning. So it's the same quote that I read a moment ago. So what we got now, this is the last one from southernnews.co.uk. They're asking him again about playoff chances, and of course he's going to say that we've got a chance. Alex Neil and Mill's playoff chances after Middlesbrough win makes it 5 wins in 7 for the Lions. Alex Neil said, of course, Mill will have a chance of making the playoffs, but admits the Lions have a tricky last 4 games. Mill gave their playoff hopes a big boost by beating 7th place Middlesbrough 1-0 at the Den today, leaving the Lions 2 points off 6th place Coventry City, who do have a game in hand as they play Hull City on Monday evening. Neil's side have won 5 out of the last 7 matches and head into next Friday's trip to 10th place Blackburn with momentum. However, Neil was keen to point out that the Lions still have to play a number of good sides, including Norwich, Swansea City and Burnley. I think what we need to do is pay a reference to some of the games we've got left as well, Neil said. We've got really tough matches coming up. This week's been really tough and we managed to get 9 points, but equally, we've got some real tough ones. Of course we've got a chance. That's the whole effort that we put in today. I'm not going to risk lads who've just come back for 2 days if I didn't feel we had an opportunity to be successful. I did it because I'm thinking it needs must now. Not next week's no good. We needed to win this game to give ourselves a chance of going forward. And I always believe, and I always will. And I think that's the competitiveness in you. You'll always think you've got a shot. Well, we do have a shot. We legitimately do have a shot. So, yeah, we wait to see. Good Friday. All eyes on that. Blackburn. Obviously, these games, because they are on... Because they've been moved... Because they're not Saturday at 3 o'clock, you will be able to watch it. So even if you can't get to the Blackburn game, it's going to be on Sky Sports Plus streaming platform. The Monday game as well. So obviously, that's at the Den. So that's obviously it's the nice sunny weather. Go down to that. Fill out the crowd. But that's on Sky Sports Plus as well. So, man, I can't wait. And on that note, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about Player of the Season. I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to tell you who I voted for. I'll vote for someone tomorrow daytime, and I'll tell you in the video in the evening who I voted for. But on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.